All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday with my man Rio, as always, on Tuesday and Wednesdays. I'm a Mayo Media Network today. Hope everybody out there having a good day. Rio, I hope your voice is ready for this 14-game slate, man. A lot to talk about. Not much time to waste, but you were at the game yesterday, the Lakers game. How did that go? Obviously, a little blowout. We did just get some Lakers news. Yes, but no. I mean, they don't need to remind us LeBron is questionable, but yes, he is still questionable. AD going to play. How's your day going, man? How was the game yesterday? What's your thoughts on this 14-gamer?
Yeah, game was a ton of fun. Had a really good seats. DK rep hooked me up really nicely. Got to get some good food, have some drinks, hang out with the family. So it was a good time. Wish my Jazz could have kept the game closer, but it is what it is. Not complaining when you get free tickets and a nice crypto.com arena. But yeah, it was a good time. Looking forward to breaking down this big 14-game slate with a ton of injury news.
Absolutely. As always, we appreciate that like button. And we also do have a new code coming out that came out yesterday. Let me find the graphic for you. Turkey20 is the code, gets you $20 off your first payment. So $69 a month goes down to $49 a month. We also have a weekly package as well. That does not come with the Discord, though. So for an extra $25, use that promo code Turkey20. You get the Discord, which is a huge piece of our product. You get a month. No cheaper price in the industry. We got you for NFL. Huge weekend coming up. Hope everybody has some exciting Thanksgiving plans. Tonight's NBA slate. Showdown on Friday. We get some Black Friday football. No MMA this week. It'll be back the next 3 weeks, though. Of course, Monday Night Football, main slates. A lot of action this week. A lot of money to be made. Head over. Use that promo code Turkey20. Get in the Discord if you use that monthly package. Otherwise, we understand some people like doing weekly. That's how they budget their money. Also do have weekly. Use that promo code Turkey20 on that. Wanted to show off quick just for NBA. Most of you guys already know before we go game by game projections. Huge part of NBA. We have very good projections. DraftKings, FanDuel, different than most of the industry. Sometimes we're very aggressive on certain players, but they've absolutely been on fire for a lot of members. You can download the CSV. You can sort it by points per dollar. Just go on teams. If you're just doing the night slate, click on certain teams you want. Again, that's projections or a cash report myself, 4 plays on both sides. GPP core report, though, Tambo, Hebrew, Nadesify, Hamwich on FanDuel give their favorite core plays. It's not something we just want you to copy, paste, and then fill it in from there. It's just their favorite plays. I want you to use that with the projections, with these rankings, ceiling rankings, correlation sheet, going to be coming at the end of the month, beginning of next month when we're finally getting a lot of data. We're working on those now. Very exciting for that. Slate plan, show it off a little bit. Hebrewcheetah does his favorite top tier, mid tier, lower tier guys. Goes very in depth with all of that. Don't want to give it away too much. Just slate info, basic Vegas info, totals, spreads, and then showdown report Monday through Friday. There's actually pretty big prize pools at night. Projections for that, core report, Rio does as well. All this NBA content, of course, NFL projections, everything for that. We'll have it for the 3-gamer tomorrow, for showdown as well, the tomorrow night's game, the Friday game. No better deal out there. Just wanted to show you some of that off. And, of course, projections are updated throughout the night because, as you know, NBA is a grind. A lot of injuries change things. Let me get that. It's updated throughout the night. So head over, use that promo code Turkey20, get you $20 off. Rio, that's enough of that. Let's go 14 games, game by game. We're going to lock in. Probably won't have time for questions, but I'll say some hi to some people in chat in the middle of stuff. First game of the night, Denver Nuggets, Orlando Magic, 218 total. Denver is favored by 4. On the injury report, Markelle Fultz is out. Wendell Carter is still out. On the Nuggets side, nothing has changed. Jamal is still out. In terms of ownership for this game, don't think we're really going to see much at all. A very low-owned game, I think. One of the lower-owned games. You can always play Jokic if you want. Not sure that's my preferred route today. I think, again, the mid-tier build is going to be more popular than just full stars and scrubs. Can always play Jokic. That's really all I got, though. What about you?
Yeah, this game will just be a cross out for me. If you have the value to get to Jokic, you definitely can do it. Orlando's pretty solid defense, but 12-5 is it? Oh, I'm on FanDuel, excuse me. He's on 12-5 on both
Talking about
sides.
Jokic, he's 12-5.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's a tough price tag, and there's not a ton of really good value right now, so I would just probably be crossing this game off.
Yep, there we go. Make it very easy. And these 14-game slates, I mean, we were crossing games off on 5-game slates. You have to cross games off. So I agree with you that first one other night. Keep it rolling to the next game. Pretty big total in this one. Wizards, Hornets, 242. Charlotte is favored by 4.5. Terry Rozier is out, so Brandon Miller I expect to start. Nick Richards out. That doesn't do much on that side. Rozier does, though. On the Washington side, DeLon Wright out. Then the Abdia is questionable. I mean, on this slate, it's not the biggest of news, but it does a little bit, I think. As far as ownership in this game, Daniel Gafford is definitely going to be popular. Miles Bridges is going to be popular. I think Brandon Miller offers that mid-tier build. I think he'll be used a little bit if he does start like we expect. Mark Williams has been pretty good. Big total, pretty close spread. I think this game gets a little ownership, more so on the Charlotte side. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, this is a game I'm definitely going to want to attack from both sides. Two of the faster paced teams in the league, with Washington being top 2, and they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Wizards are getting killed inside, been a little bit better at defending the 3-point line. So we can look at guys like LaMelo, who's driving a ton. We could look at Miles Bridges, who kind of gets most of his work done down low. And then Mark Williams has been awesome. He should see a higher minute ceiling with no Nick Richards. He had some huge games in the past couple of weeks. Last time this team faced, he went for 21 points and 24 rebounds. So he's got a huge ceiling. I definitely like him a lot at 6'5". Yeah, LaMelo probably going to be one of my favorite spend ups here. His role has been really good. Minutes are really solid since Rozier's been out. He could definitely pay off a 10-2 price tag. I'll continue to play Miles Bridges too. I mean, he's seeing heavy minutes with the Hornets being pretty thin right now. Coach has talked about getting him a lot of minutes too, and now he's starting, which you love to see. So I definitely have a ton of interest in those three guys. If you want to get into like Gordon Hayward and Brandon Miller type plays, I wouldn't hate it. I don't love it, but it makes sense. None of the value guys on Hornets really do anything for me though. And then on Washington side, it's pretty tough because they're getting blown out pretty much every single night, and you haven't really seen big ceiling from most of these guys, but the matchup sets up pretty well for Kyle Kuzma. Hornets are a 3-point funnel, so he should get a ton of open looks. He's been shooting pretty well this year. He would probably be my favorite Wizard. Jordan Poole continues to get ownership, and he continues to just play really bad. I think people are just kind of continue firing on him until he pays off, which makes sense because he definitely has a big ceiling. In a game with a close spread, fast pace, I could definitely see Jordan Poole get in there, but I would just prefer to spend up for Kyle Kuzma if I was going to play anybody. I think that Denny Avia definitely kind of means a little bit because he's a pretty solid on-ball defender. I think if he is out, maybe we see a higher ceiling from LaMelo Ball, and I think Bilal Coulibaly would probably get the start for Denny, which, I mean, he would become a pretty solid value at 4,800, I think. Could be a pivot off of Daniel Gafford at 4,200. He'll probably come in close to 30 to 40% owned, and rightfully so. I mean, the match was pretty good for him. I don't know what he did to deserve such a big price decrease. He's a normal starter, and 4,200, I mean, it's a really good price tag for him, so I have a ton of interest in him as well. But yeah, a lot of ways you can go in this game. Definitely will have multiple pieces from both sides, I'm sure.
Yeah, not much to add. A lot of good plays for sure. I will mention two big injury news on this slate. DeJounte Murray and Jason Tatum, both questionable. Both play at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So this game's at 7. The Nuggets game at 7. So if we don't get that news, I think I'd dock it a little bit. I still think you could play it. I don't think I'd jam 5-6 pieces though. Then like Trae Young, like Jaylen Brown's right in the range of some of these Hornets and Wizards. So I'd probably wait and want to see that news, but it doesn't mean I'd fade all of them. I just want to leave some flexibility there. It's definitely a great game. There's no strong leans. I mean, I don't know. Bridge has been playing great ball. LaMelo's expensive, so I guess he would be one of my least favorites there, but I don't know. What you said I like. You can get Gordon Hayward. You can get Jordan Poole. I definitely don't want. I don't care. I mean, I have to see it first. It's a 14-game slate. I feel good about that. But Melo, Bridges, I like Mark Williams, Brandon Miller starting guard forward eligibility. If Abdia plays, I think he's totally fine too at 5'6", small forward, power forward. Yeah, no strong leads on this game. If Tatum in, DeJounte in, then I think you can load up on this game where you're not really waiting for much news. LeBron we'll talk about later. Wouldn't be a huge shock if he sat, but they blew him out. So he kind of got rest at the end of the game. So, yeah. Well, that's my breakdown. I had a question. How do you get tickets from your rep? Play a lot of money, have a very nice rep as well. But that is how you do it. What's going on? Tweezy, Paraby's in here. Colin T's in here. I'm the Great. Jim, Zim in here. Gator Nation. Kevin, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Kevin. Eric Garcia, Rob, Dan. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. Hope you guys have a great night. You're going out tonight. Be safe. Of course, enjoy the night with family. Tomorrow, enjoy some football. Always a great meal. Enjoy some food. Let's get to the next game of the slate. Brooklyn Nets, Atlanta Hawks, 236 total. Hawks favored by 2. Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas still out as far as the other side with Atlanta. Just mentioned DeJounte questionable, which would be very big news because if he's out, Trae Young, obviously huge bump. I mean, it'd be a lot of these Hawks. Speaking of yesterday, you could break down this game, but 2 words, Tyrese Halliburton. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was awesome last night. That game was really fun to watch. Went completely smashed the over-under too, which is crazy to think. I mean, at 250, they got up to, I think, 300 points. But yeah, this game, I mean, DeJounte Murray news is going to be pretty big. Definitely, like you said, would give a guy like Trae Young a big boost. I do kind of worry about this game. I don't want to say blowout, but I mean, Trae Young played 39 minutes last night in a huge, fast-paced game, so he's probably got to have some tired legs. I'm assuming that's why DeJounte is questionable now, so I don't know if I would want to really invest into Trae Young at 9,200. Probably get a pretty tough matchup too against Mikal Bridges. I would assume he would be guarding him, but his role would be really good if DeJounte is out. I think that would bring a guy like Bogdan in play a lot more at 5,600. Tough to see a really big ceiling from him, though. He's very scoring dependent. Matchup does suit his play style pretty well, though. The Nets are a 3-point funnel, so he could definitely be in play. Wouldn't mind Sadiq Bey, 4,900. He's been playing really well lately and getting a ton of rebounds, which you love to see. Yeah, I don't really have the total, and this one is pretty nice, so you're probably going to want some pieces or at least be considering some. I would just have to see where the projections kind of shake out after DeJounte Murray gets ruled in or out. If he's in, I wouldn't have a ton of interest, but on the Hawks side at least. And if he's out, then yeah, we'll definitely want to play some of these guys. And then on the net side, haven't seen a really big ceiling game from Mikal Bridges. Probably get a much better matchup, much easier matchup for him if Murray is out. I just don't know. He's also really scoring dependent, doesn't really add a ton of the peripheral stuff, so I don't know if I would really want to pay $8K for him. Dinwiddie would get a good matchup too versus Trae Young. I do like Nick Claxton a lot, though, 5,900. His minutes limit seems to be lifted now. Matchup is really good for people scoring inside. The Hawks are one of the worst interior defense, or third worst interior right now. So he could put up a pretty solid score, 5,900. Cam Johnson, 5,700, really good play too. He should get a ton of open looks. Minutes have been up and down, but in a close game, I could definitely see him putting up a pretty big scoring output. So I think my interest in the Nets is really Claxton and Cam Johnson.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Ross K. 14 games is a bit excessive. I want to say there might even be 14 NHL games today too, unless I'm full tweak. I thought NHL had a pretty good slate. Was going to look at tournaments after, but yeah, all the games get jammed in right before Thanksgiving, and that's kind of like Mikal Bridges. He projects fine. He plays a lot of minutes, but I come back to it's a 14-game slate and he's 8K. Like, it's just so hard for me to click that button. Yeah, there's some bias in there, no doubt. I don't think he's a bad play, and I think Cam Johnson gets a little ownership, so the little leverage you get, again, it's not nearly as strong as it is in some other sports, but I guess if Cam Johnson fails, maybe Bridges got hot and he shot way more, stuff like that. But I think Cam's fine for the price. It's not really a game I like too much, though, assuming DeJounte plays. If I definitely don't like the Atlanta side if DeJounte's in. If he's out, yeah, Trae Young becomes a great play. Chalk again. I mean, you mentioned they definitely have bodies they can throw at him. They can switch a lot. They're athletic. They're pretty long. So it is a pretty tough matchup for Trae coming off all those minutes. So yeah, I don't hate it too. The fade on Trae, even if DeJounte was out, with how probably popular he probably would be the most popular in this 14 gamer is my guess. So I wouldn't mind that. And then I like Jalen Johnson a lot. Definitely good going right back there. Bogdanovich would probably start. So monitor Trae news for sure. Hoping kind of DeJounte's just in though. Don't have to worry about it. Let's keep it rolling. Appreciate that like button. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Again, hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. Very excited. Thanksgiving, one of the best days out there for so many reasons. Millie Maker up top. Hope someone at SHIPIT Nation gets the job done. Toronto Raptors, Indiana Pacers, 239.5 total. Pacers favored by 2.5. We just talked about the Hawks. The Pacers on the other side of that awesome game yesterday. As far as injuries, Nembhard is questionable again. Neesmith is also questionable. And on the other side, and if Neesmith is out, I think Obi Toppin would maybe start coming off a massive game. He'd be a smash play. So that is pretty interesting news, is Nembhard and Neesmith. Nothing on the Toronto side we have to worry about. Of course, I mean, I just said the name Tyrese. He's 10K. I love him. I'm not seeing too much ownership. However, how much recency bias could come into play on yesterday's slate? I really don't know because there's 14 games. There's a lot of different ways, a lot of spends to go to. But there's no way the ownership, if he sucked yesterday, would be the exact same today than because of the game he had yesterday. You know what I mean? So how many points, how much ownership does that really boost? And then break down this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he gets closer to 7-8%. I don't think it would be something outrageous like in the mid-teens.
Just like maybe yesterday, if it was today and he sucked yesterday, it would be what, 2%? 3%. Yeah. Now maybe it's what, 8, 9, something little like that is how I'm my guess. I don't know though.
Yeah, people definitely would have some FOMO after not playing him at low ownership yesterday. So I could definitely see him. I mean, the price tag is really solid for him too. I think the matchup is pretty good for him as well. He's driving a ton, shooting really well right now. Obviously, his assist numbers are massive, but I mean, Jakob Poeltl, I keep hammering this point home. He's a really, really bad rim protector, and Haliburton should just be able to blow past anybody that's in front of him and get some easy buckets. I definitely have some interest in him. Same story though with Trae Young. He played a huge minutes last night, so I'm a little bit worried about what the minute ceiling could be in a back-to-back and a game. I mean, it's a Eastern Conference opponent, but yesterday was the in-season tournament game, so I think he might have wanted to show out a little bit more for that one than this one. They are favored right now, which I mean tells me he's probably not going to be limited at all. So definitely, I think you can make a case for Haliburton. I mean, I slightly prefer LaMelo Ball to Haliburton on this slate, but he's always a great play. I don't really have a ton of interest in Miles Turner right now at 6,900. He lost a ton of minutes yesterday to Obi Toppin. They're running more small ball. I think that the Raptors have enough small ball type lineups to throw out there that could take away some of his minutes. 6,900 is a hefty price tag to pay for somebody that's not guaranteed 30 plus minutes. I don't love that. Yeah, whichever one of Mathurin and Buddy Hield is starting, I would have interest in. It's probably going to be Buddy Hield again. The matchup should be pretty good for him. Should get a ton of catch and shoot with Neesmith and Nembhard missing too. It's got to bump up his minutes a little bit more. So I think he's a pretty solid value play right now. He's projecting really well, so I like him.
Were they ruled out? Or are they still queued?
I haven't seen anything. I think they're still questionable right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Keep going. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really just the main guys for Indy with Haliburton, Buddy Hield, maybe Obi Toppin if he is back in the starting lineup. But I think it's a little bit chasey after having a huge game last night. The matchup was much better last night in an up-tempo game. The Raptors played pretty slow, so I wouldn't be running to play him. I'd rather play like Gafford or maybe Coulibaly. Yeah, mainly for Indy, it's just Haliburton and one of Hield and Mathurin, and then on the Raptors side, they should have a really, really good matchup with Pacers being dead last in rim defense. So we can look to guys like Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, the guys that are going to be driving to the rim a ton. Surprisingly, Dennis Schroeder leads the team in drives right now, which, I mean, he's been playing pretty well lately, but 6,500, a little expensive for him while this team is getting fully healthy. I think I'd rather try to find the money to get to Siakam or Barnes if I was trying to play a Raptor. But I never really loved playing anybody on the Raptors side, especially when they're getting healthy, getting Gary Trent back, Precious Achiuwa back. So I don't really see much in this game. Kind of a long way of saying that.
Yeah, no, it was a good breakdown. I mean, I love Tyrese. I'm good going right back. Obviously, the nuke yesterday helped, but raises ownership a little. It'll still be in check. I agree with you. I don't like the really Miles Turners of the world. This Neesmith and Nemhard Q tags are interesting, though. If they're both in, you can definitely go Buddy at 5-2. I mean, this man will just chuck. And they can go in. He can get hot. He got hurt. He got hot late yesterday. So if he carries that over, you can always play Buddy at 5-2. He'd be my second favorite. I agree with you on the Obi. Like, at this price tag, let's see. If he was starting, I need him to start 4-7. I think it's fine. It's definitely not like yesterday, though. Those up-tempo games, like, he gets out in transition, plays above the rim. Like, he is so good in those up and down games. It was an all-star game yesterday. So a completely different matchup. Yeah, it's probably just Tyrese and Buddy mainly. If Obi did start, fine. And then on the other side, I don't know. I don't love clicking Siakam's name. Probably would prefer him over Bridges at 8K. OG 5'6", Scotty 8'6". I think they're all fine. I'd probably make a rule max of 1. If you land on one of them, fine. Probably wouldn't get there in a single entry or something. Is how I see the game. We'll keep it rolling. Yeah, we appreciate that like button. And if you do want to join us at SHIPITNation.com, no better time to join. A lot of sports going on today. NHL, NBA, massive slates. Tomorrow, massive Thanksgiving slate. Black Friday, football on Friday, NFL Sunday, Showdown Monday. I mean, so much going on. Use that code TURKEY20. Gets you $20 off your first payment. $69 a month. Drops down to $49 a month. And you also can get in the Discord. Do have weekly packages as well. It's $24.99 a month. Use that promo code. Or you don't get Discord with the weekly, though. If you use that promo code, monthly, $49 a month. A little more money, but with the Discord, that is what I would recommend. But do have the weekly packages open as well. And we have the 6-month annual packages still for the cheapest rate. Let's keep it going. A game that is all injury news dependent for me. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Excited for this one, of course. 234 total. Boston is favored by 5. Tatum is questionable. Jay Crowder's on the Milwaukee side. Doesn't mean much. Tatum being questionable is huge, though. It's an illness. Popped up this morning. Very interesting because if he's in, I think this is probably the easiest stay away game on the slate. 2 healthy teams, appropriately priced. The total's fine, actually, but it's going to be good basketball with plenty of options on both sides. If he's out, still don't like anyone on the Bucks, of course. Jaylen Brown at 7'5", guard forward eligibility would be very popular. Drew, revenge game, 7-1, would be very popular, I think. Porzingis gets the bump. Derek White gets the bump. I mean, of course, you're talking the best player on the team, a superstar, is out. All these guys are underpriced. I mean, pretty much all. Do you have the same approach where if Tatum's in, are you fading this game? If so, then just talk about what if he is out.
Yeah, definitely. If Tatum's in, I would definitely just want to kind of cross this game off. It's going to be a really fun game to watch from a viewer standpoint, but in terms of fantasy, I don't see much. I mean, the Celtics are one of the best defensive teams in the league. They're getting Al Horford back. Derek White will be back. There's 2 really, really big defenders for them, so I wouldn't have much interest in anybody on the Bucks. Obviously, Giannis able to overcome any matchup, and this game will be close throughout. A game both these teams are really going to want to win, so we could probably see heavy minutes from all the starters. But yeah, midday downgrade with an illness usually means the guy's going to be out, so I think that we can kind of plan for that. Jaylen Brown would be in a really good spot. Drew Holiday, great matchup. Keep hammering the point home that guards versus the Bucks. They have 0 on-ball defense with Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley still out there trying to defend these guys. So Drew would be in a really good spot. I mean, the matchup is really good for Derek White as well for the same reasons as Drew, but 6,200, little pricey. We've seen him pay off this price tag a few times this year, but I don't know if I would be running to play Derek White at 6,200. I'd much rather get to Drew or Jaylen Brown. So yeah, I mean, if Tatum's out, Drew, Jaylen Brown, really good plays. You can always, find the money to pay up for Giannis. He's been on fire lately. Got 40+ points in 2 straight. Got a 50 ball in there a few games ago, so he's on fire right now. Yeah, that's mainly it. Just Giannis, Drew, and Jaylen Brown if Tatum's out.
Yeah, my lean was at first Tatum sitting too. Like, give him the extra day off. Tough matchup, physical game, but it's still a 5-point spread, which is a little interesting. I don't know if anyone knows what it opened at before Tatum's Q tag. I'd be interested to hear that, but 5 still feels a little wide. Like if Tatum's out, Celtics are still good, but I don't know the number. I'd be interested to see what that number was before the Tatum midday downgrade. But the game's, off the top of your head?
I think it was still 5, but the game total went down a point or two.
Interesting, very interesting. 7:30 again, that game is. So that's why we talked about those first two. The Washington Hornets game is definitely good. So that one you don't have to fully ignore. The other game I really don't like much at 7 Eastern. And this DeJounte Tatum news, hoping we get it 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes before, so we get it before lock. But if not, I'll probably bump those guys down a little bit in the first game since the Celtics news is huge. If Tatum's out, you want some of these guys for sure. If he's in, easy stay away. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slates, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, low total as you'd expect, 211. Miami is favored by 3.5. Looking at this one on the injury report, Hero is out. That's pretty much the only thing that matters there. As far as the Cleveland side, Donovan Mitchell is still out. Karis LeVert is questionable. He was questionable last game. He missed. Okoro is out. The Karis LeVert stuff matters a little bit. I mean, Max Struss has been hooping, man. Garland coming off a big game. It did go to OT yesterday, so these guys did play extended run. I think the Cavs side will be very low owned. I think the Heat side, pretty low owned. I think maybe some Caleb Martin is a full punt. People might go to if better value opens up. I think he'd be irrelevant, but that guard forward, if you're trying to spend up somewhere, I'm not surprised if he gets a little ownership. I think Jimmy Butler maybe a little bit, but pretty low on game, low total. I don't have much interest. Does Karis LeVert news do anything if he's out?
No, not really. Just like you said, the Cavaliers played pretty heavy minutes last night, so similar situation with the Pacers in Atlanta. I kind of want to stay away from it. And on top of that, I mean, the game environment is really bad. 2 of the slower paced teams, pretty solid defenses as well. If you were to play anybody on the Cavs side, I think that you got to look at the shooters just because Miami is becoming much more of a 3-point funnel. They're with Bam down low. They're doing a really good job of taking away rim scoring. So I think that, if they're thin again, Max Struss, normally he was just a scorer, just a shooter for the Heat. Also a revenge narrative if you want to get into that, but he's been adding a ton of the peripheral stuff. So
now he's catching bodies. Come on, man. He's catching bodies now. It's a new Strus.
Yeah, he's a new guy on the Cleveland team. So I definitely would have some interest in him if LeVert is out again. But it's just hard to invest in them when they just played such heavy minutes. I mean, if you want to go back to Craig Porter Jr. at 4,600, I would definitely not mind that with LeVert out again. Maybe they don't give Darius Garland a full workload in this game, just with it being a back-to-back, him playing 40 minutes or whatever he played last night. Wouldn't mind him at 4,600. But yeah, not a ton of interest in this game.
Yeah, and good shout out on Craig Porter yesterday. Obviously, he got the spot start, so he became a good play, became popular. But I think if that news didn't break our way even, he was going to have a role. And he's good, man. He can fill it up, so good shout on him. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Sacramento Kings headed to New Orleans. Kings favored by 1.5, 235 total. Pelican side, CJ McCollum is out. I think Dyson Daniels will probably start. As far as the Kings side, Keegan Murray doubtful, Chris Duarte questionable. So interesting. Like if both those guys missed, I'd give a bump to Malik Monk. If just Keegan Murray or something missed, maybe Duarte, he started again, or he started a couple games ago, played really well in that game as well. Maybe he'd start. So interesting news to monitor on the Kings side. And this game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm not waiting it. Like the 7:30 games, especially if one of Tatum or DeJounte are out, are so good. That Hornets game so good. So I'm not backloading for this news, but if you have pieces, it could be pretty important. How do you see that news playing a factor in any of this? Pretty high total, pretty close spread. Two pretty fun teams. I'm excited real life ball, but what about DFS?
Yeah, I'm pretty bummed out. Last time these teams played, I was pretty heavy on the Sabonis side. He did not play very well, got bodied by Joe Val all game. They got blown out, so that was a tough scene. But yeah, I'm expecting Duarte to play, and he's probably going to be starting. Got a note from Underdog earlier in the day that he was spotted in a starter's jersey, so he's probably starting. I think that they held him out last game. He got injured with a hand injury. I don't know exactly what it was, but I mean the game was probably already out of hand. They're just like, we'll just kind of phone it in and play for the next game. So I think that he's going to play. He's going to start 3,700, pretty solid value. If he's out, Kessler Edwards got the start last game, or the start in the second half last game. So he would probably slide in there if Duarte is out. But yeah, I mean, the matchup for Sabonis is really good again. The Pelicans are getting killed on the inside. They're bottom 3 in DVP versus center. So center is really, really strong today. So I don't know if I would want to spend the salary on him. De'Aaron Fox has a tough matchup against Herb Jones and Dyson Daniels, both really solid defenders. Zion in a good spot again. He kind of had a breakout game last time. Didn't see his full minutes. I think got up to 30 minutes still in the blowout. Yeah, got up to 30 minutes, put up 44 DraftKings points. So it was somewhat of a blowout or a breakout game for him after struggling early in the season. Yeah, I think Jonas Valanciunas a little too expensive right now, almost 7K. Things can go pretty bad for him sometimes if he's not on or if he's fouling a lot. So not super excited to play him at 7K. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm more so just interested in the value from the Kings side. I don't really want to. I like the spend up options in the Hornets game a little bit more and in the Celtics game.
Yeah, I think a Sabonis or a Zion or a Fox, I think any of them are fine. Like if you're doing the $4.20 entry max, maybe make a rule max one. I probably would Sabonis, Fox, Zion, Ingram, but I'd be fine if either of them hit my build as a contrarian spend in what should be a close game. Pretty high total. I do like Duarte 3.7. I missed that with Underdog saying he was spotted in a starter's uniform, so I'd expect him to play, expect him to get the start again. 3.7. Very nice price tag, guard forward eligibility as well. If he was to be, I'm not even going to mention if he was to be out because I'm expecting him in. So, yeah, really just the studs. I wouldn't want two on the same team, and then Duarte in that game. Keep it rolling. Plenty of games to talk about. Great work thus far. Still not done yet, though. 6 games? Something like that. Chicago Bulls, Oklahoma City Thunder, 225.5 total. OKC favored by 7. Going to the injury report, Jalen Williams out for the OKC side. So one of their better players, pretty important. Nothing on the Chicago side we have to worry about. I think SGA, it will be one of the more popular spends on the slate at 9.7. Kind of why I like Tyrese at 10K, even though I expect some ownership to go there. Sabonis at 10.1, the Zions, the Ingrams. Everyone we just talked about will be lower than SGA. No doubt about that. I love SGA. I mean, the dude's a hooper, dominates the ball. I like everything about him. It feels way too cheap. But we're also on a 14-game slate with countless studs to play. So let me rewind. If Murray's in, if Tatum's in, then I think he will be way, way, way more popular, and I'd rather fade. Still have LaMelo, all these other guys. If they're out, then the Jaylen Browns, the Trae Youngs, the Porzingis, all that, then I think SGA ownership is way less. Still be owned a little bit, but not nearly what he is now. And then I think jumping on SGA is a great play then, whatever goes early. So took me a minute to try and get what was in my head to words. That is my approach. So other than that, I don't like much in this game. I don't know. One of these Bulls, if you get the right Bull, what do you see?
Nah, Bulls are a pretty easy X out for me. I mean, if you want to play them, I would always max one, Vucevic, Levine, DeRozan. But I mean, their offense is just terrible right now. They can't get anything going. I kind of expect the Thunder to roll in this one. Nice that DraftKings finally priced SGA under 10K. I think he kind of belongs there. I mean, he's an awesome player, but a lot of his upside for DK scoring is predicated on how many points he scores.
What about without Jalen Williams? Because that's it. Like if Jalen Williams was in, SGA would not be owned what he is now at 9.7. You still think he's priced right without Jalen Williams?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think this is probably where he belongs to be.
Cool, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I love SGA as a player, but just look at like the assist rate, or the assist numbers, the rebounding numbers. They're not super high. He's never really getting close to like a triple double or a double double, which I feel like you want in the 10Ks. Needs 40 real points to kind of pay off, which he definitely can do in any matchup. He's an awesome scorer, but the matchup for Chicago is a little bit better for shooters, for jump shooters. So I don't think that's really SGA's MO when he's looking to score. He wants to get inside, but I mean, Caruso is a really, really solid defender, so I think that takes a little bit upside off of him. Maybe we look to like a Chet or Isaiah Joe. I mean, Isaiah Joe's pretty priced up, so I wouldn't be running to play him. But the matchup, it kind of leans more in his favor. I mean, mainly I just don't really like much in this game. I think it's going to be a gross, slow-paced game with OKC probably blowing them out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not going to waste too much time there either. I like and I get that too. A lot of studs on back-to-backs today, so I get that with SGA. My approach will be Tatum, DeJounte. If they're in, SGA will still be pretty popular. I don't like him as much. If they're out, everyone flocks to other people. I like getting on SGA there. Next game on the slate, again, I think pretty fast one, at least for me. Clippers and the Spurs. We got 231 total. Clippers favored by 8 on the injury report. Devin Vassell is questionable. If he's out, I think Champagne will he will start. He has been starting when Vassell's out. Looking at it though, I mean, I don't know. You can definitely play Victor at 8-1. I think that's a very interesting tag. What we talked about, Bridges at 8K. There was someone else we talked about 8K as well that I said I preferred over Bridges a bit, but I prefer Victor over all three of those guys in that range. Will be low owned. I don't know. Harden's price tag, trying to lower it to make it look intriguing. FanDuel, crazy, 7.4K down there. The price is right though for him. I'm definitely not getting there on DK. FanDuel, I think, is a pretty interesting fade at high ownership in tournaments, but really just Victor, nothing in this one. What about you?
Would you actually give me one moment and just kind of talk for a little bit? I got my dog scratching at my door, so I got to let her in real quick.
Yeah, no worries at all. I'll say hi to a couple more. Actually, you know what? I'll go to the next game. I'll touch on the next game, and then we'll get Rio over here. So Memphis Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, 213 total. Houston is favored by 5. Looking at the injury reports, Marcus Smart is out for Memphis. Conchar will continue to start, I think. Who knows? I mean, I've been burned so much on these Grizzlies as of late, though. It's Gilliard starting, then he gets pulled. Conchar starts, doesn't do much. Santi off the bench is the greatest player of all time. So
I'm back, by the way.
You're back. Yeah, we'll get back to this Memphis rant after. I don't think this game will take too much time for you, but anything in that Spurs one?
Yeah, I mean, James Harden, really good price tag. Again, he was on his way to having a really big game. Did not see his final rotation. Only got to 28 minutes, almost 40 DraftKings points. I think you can go right back to him. Really solid price tag in that mid range. I definitely have interest in Wemby at 8,100. I mean, I think you kind of have to have interest in a guy at low 8Ks that has that 60-point upside. This being a home game for the Spurs, maybe they're able to keep it a little bit closer. I doubt it just because they're awful. But, I mean, if the game is close, he definitely has huge upside, 8,100, and projects pretty well for us right now. So I would not mind taking some shots on him in 20 to 150 lineups. But, I mean, yeah, max one of the George, Kawhi, James Harden, that grouping. But, I mean, they're all in really good spots. The Spurs are getting beat everywhere, so you can just kind of pick and choose whichever one you want. They'll probably have a good game, but I think I would lean Harden just for the price tag, him playing a lot better, and possible triple-double upside.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I would definitely max one of those guys as well. Victor, my favorite play in that game. Before I get back to that rant that's costing me cheese with these Memphis dudes, Josh in here, what's going on? I will see you Friday since you are not playing a 14-game slate, and I do not blame you. Michael in here, my man Jake. Hope everything going well. 2 spends, Halliburton, LaMelo. Can't go wrong with either of them. It sounds like LaMelo, one of Rio's favorite spend-ups. You already know Tyrese, my favorite, man. Come on now. Next game, these Grizzlies taking on the Rockets. Was already talking about it. Smart is still out, so I think Conchar is still going to start. But Luke Kennard is also out. Xavier Tillman's also out. However, man, freaking Santi Aldama. Like, I'm playing Gilliard because he starts. He stinks and gets benched. play Contra, he starts, he does whatever. Santi's the guy that absolutely keeps nuking. Pretty good play again. The price tag's up there at 6-1, but I don't know. If I play him, he might finally stink. If I don't play him, he probably goes off again. I want to hop on the train, though. I'm buying in. Bane, Jaren Jackson, I think both fine price tags too, and kind of overlooked, I think, on this slate. There's so many games, so rightfully so. On the Rocket side, only two guys really, Fred VanVleet and Sengun. I don't want to mess with anyone else. Probably would max one on a slate like this. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think I have as much interest in these Grizzlies as you do, though. I mean, the Rockets are one of the slower teams in the league and actually been playing really good defense. So I think that the Grizzlies, just with how bad they are in offense right now, they can kind of be a full fade. I don't think you're going to be missing out too much. I would definitely not expect another 60-point game from Santi. That was just insane, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. 6,100 is crazy for him. He's usually in the upper 4Ks, so I don't think that he's a play at 6,100. Matchup's really good for Fred VanVleet, and surprisingly, as gross it is to say, Dylan Brooks. The Grizzlies are getting destroyed by 3-point shooters this year. Fred VanVleet is attempting over 8 a game, making over 3. So his minutes have been really good. 7,700, really good price tag for him. I like Fred VanVleet. Dylan Brooks, 5K, little revenge spot if you want to get into that type of stuff. Probably going to be guarding Desmond Bane. Might bring a little bit of foul risk to his upside, but matchup is really good for the shooters on the Rockets, and that's really only who I'll be looking at.
I like it. Sorry, I noticed clicking buttons. Sometimes you can hear it, so I've been trying to use that mute button more. Got to get a whole setup. Got to work with more screens than just one.
Yep.
But man, I don't know. Santi, I might play a little. I know that price is way up. Maybe probably is recency bias, but he can fill it up in multiple ways. I mean, he's going to play the minutes. They are pretty thin. I'll play a little Santi, but yeah. Otherwise, other than that, don't love that game too much. I think one of Bane or Jackson would make the rule max one. It would max other side. As well with Sengun and Fred VanVleet. Nothing else for me. Keep it rolling. 4 games left, Rio. 4 games left. 10 down, 4 to go. Philadelphia 76ers, Minnesota Timberwolves, 220.5 total. Minnesota is favored by 7. Going to the injury report on Philly. Big news, obviously. Embiid is out. Kelly Oubre is out as well. So I'm expecting Paul Reed to start. Going to the Minnesota side, Jaden McDaniels is out. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker starts for him with no Embiid. Paul Reed going to be, I don't know, at least they got the price right at 5K. Like, he's going to be up there in ownership, but I don't think he's the highest owned on the slate by any means like that. I still like the play. You talked about how bloated center is, though, so curious your take on him. Tyrese Maxey will be the highest owned Philly guy. Will be one of the higher owned players on the slate, I think. He was 8-8 when Embiid was playing, 9K without Embiid. Massive role for him. So very interesting spend there. And again, I mentioned Nickeil Alexander-Walker starting 3.7K. I think he's solid value as well. What you got in this game?
Yeah, I'll start with the Sixers side with Embiid out. Tyrese Maxey's going to see a huge usage bump. I think he's up to 35% with Embiid off the floor. So he's a really good play. Matchup becomes a lot better with Jaden McDaniels out. He's an awesome defender. Maxey probably sees and Edwards, I'm guessing, or Nickeil Alexander-Walker on defense if he's starting, which is totally fine. His role is going to be huge. Bit of a low total, but Nick Nurse is definitely not afraid to run him upper 40 or upper 30s minutes and even into the 40s. So I think that his role is really good. You could definitely, he's a better play than I think he's a better play than SGA, better play than Trey. Even with DeJounte out, I would much prefer Tyrese Maxey. He's just an absolute stud, so I like him. I will not play Tobias Harris at 7,500. It's way too expensive. Anthony Melton, 6,200, definitely makes my player pool. He sees a pretty big usage bump too, up to 26% without Embiid. He's been playing a lot better, shooting a lot better, so I like him as well. Going to have his hands full on defense, getting Anthony Edwards, but he's going to be needed in this game if Philly actually wants to win. And yeah, Paul Reed going to get the spot start. I think 5K is a reasonable price tag for him. His upside is really big in games without Joel Embiid. I don't really care that the matchup is not the best for big men against Rudy Gobert. He's going to see 32-ish minutes, and he's been a really solid fantasy producer when he gets the minutes. I definitely like Paul Reed, and I don't mind that he's at 5K. DraftKings has been doing a really good job of pricing people up where they should be and not giving us free squares as much this year, which makes it a lot more competitive, which you love to see. And yeah, on the Minnesota side, usually always have more interest in Karl-Anthony Towns over Ant Edwards. Ant's just not shooting the ball too well right now. Had a little bit of a bounce back game, got to a double-double, 10 rebounds. So 8,500, 8,300, the price is close. I definitely think Ant has more upside on a nightly basis, but I'll just take Karl-Anthony Towns for him being a little bit safer right now. Rudy Gobert, 6,600, a really, really solid price tag. Paul Reed won't make him leave the paint too much, so he could have a really big rebounding output. Would not mind him. Yeah, I mean, the Nickeil Alexander Walker stuff is kind of an interesting talking point because he's probably going to get the start. He's going to be one of the higher owned values, but I mean, he's one of the lower usage guys in the whole league. He's not going to do much out there except stand in the corner and then be out there to play defense. Maybe he falls into a couple open looks and gets to 16, 17 DraftKings points, but I mean, Naz Reid is $200 more, different position. I get it, but he has way more upside, and maybe he sees a little trickle down of minutes from McDaniels missing. I would much rather play Naz Reid at 3,900 than Nickeil Alexander Walker. So that's where I would be going with that. And I mean, Kyle Anderson works as a pivot too. He'll see more minutes with McDaniels missing. So I like those other guys a lot more than Alexander Walker.
Yeah, I like Naz. He actually shoots. I mean, he's aggressive. He plays with the backups more than Nah, so his minutes are staggered, higher usage. What are your thoughts on Mo Bamba, if you want to get really crazy? Probably the backup. He will be the backup 5 behind Paul Reed without Embiid. Or is center just too strong and there's just too many games?
No, I mean, I think you could definitely go there. Even if he sees
the value's not great today. Like we're talking about Naz Reid, like Martin. We're talking about some of these guys. So the minutes, he doesn't have the same minutes ceiling by any means as some of those other guys, but point per minute, he's better than a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 7-point spread too. So I mean, maybe the game blows out. He would definitely see blowout run. I don't think they're not going to give Paul Reed 36 to 38 minutes. I mean, you probably are getting 15, maybe like 2 rotations from Mo Bamba if the game is close, and possibly a more extended run if the game blows out. I mean, 3K, he's always been a really good fantasy producer. He hasn't seen more than 9 minutes in a game this year, but I mean, we've seen him with the Magic over the years just have some really solid games, and 3K, he's definitely in play.
I like it. I agree. 3 games left on the slate. Let's keep it rolling. Great job so far, Rio. Golden State Warriors heading to Phoenix. Talking revenge. Josh mentioned a lot of names, some revenge in this one, and you did forget one, Josh. Get to that one in a sec. Warriors Suns, 232 total. Phoenix favored by 2.5. On the Golden State side, Draymond still dealing with his suspension, serving a suspension, I should say. Gary Payton is out. On the Phoenix side, Bradley Beal is out. Yes, you got the KD revenge. You missed a little CP3 revenge, Josh, just like I missed Ayton on the other side. Booker's comments pretty funny yesterday as well, but Ayton Nurkic battled it out. I don't like this game. I mean, real life, it should be fun. There's still enough mouths on both teams. If I played anyone, it's Steph. What, is he going to be 1-2% owned? Look at that price tag and you say Steph 1-2% owned. It's really all I need to say. Yes, I like Tyrese, some of these guys up there more, but man, I would not be surprised if this was a Steph game. So he's my only dude. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I could definitely see Steph getting up for this game. Going to be really competitive, pretty solid point total. I could definitely see him just being extra motivated going against the Phoenix team. Chris Paul coming over from there. Obviously, Kevin Durant playing for the Warriors a few years ago. So I could definitely – I mean, 9,300 is a really, really good price tag for Steph. You should definitely be taking shots on somebody at 9,300 that has nuclear upside. I mean, we haven't seen a huge game from him this year, but he had a 60-point game against New Orleans earlier. Minutes are ticking up. They really need his offense. He got 36, 40, and 35 in the last 3 games. So I definitely have interest in Steph, but not much on the Suns or any of the secondary Warriors guys. I mean, Clay is just playing terrible. Wiggins had a good game and then back to his old ways, having a bad game, shooting 30%. I mean, the matchup is pretty good for Kevon Looney, but 5,600, rather spend down for Paul Reed or spend up for Gobert or Sabonis or something like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but there's no way someone can argue Clay's the same Clay pre-Achilles injury. The bounce, the step, it clearly has been lost, but he can still shoot the damn ball. So there definitely is upside. You said right there, Clay been playing better, more minutes, chip on his shoulder. Play a 1% on Clay. No one's going to say no. Kind of like Steph. These guys can fill it up, get hot, break slates. Give me the Steph side and that price tag there. But, yeah, totally agree. I think you could take low-owned shot. Anyone in this game, they're all going to be pretty low-owned.
We can't say Clay is washed. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time.
I ain't saying he's washed.
I'm not saying Ross in chat.
Yeah, he just
no,
lost.
I agree.
The shooting, yeah.
The ACL and the Achilles.
Yeah. But I thought he recovered. I only mentioned the Achilles because I actually thought he recovered from the ACL to one of the top notch. I thought the Achilles in getting up there in age was the one that was a lot more noticeable. But yeah, I mean, tough breaks. Rather have Trace. Come on now. Baseball, it's a long enough season. We'll be back in a couple months. Crazy talking some baseball. But 2 games left. Your Utah Jazz taking on the Portland Trailblazers. They don't got to worry about a back-to-back. Same with these Lakers. After that stinker. Come on now, Rio. Utah favored by 3, 227.5 total. Portland side, same thing. Scoot, Anthony Simons out. Same thing on Utah side. Walker Kessler out. No injury news usually means, especially on a slate like this, not much interest. That's how I see it. If you want to play a Ayton or a Grant or a Sharp or something like that, max 1 in this game. They'll be low owned. Play some minutes, a lot of minutes, but nothing I love. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, not surprisingly, I do kind of like some pieces in this game. I think that it's going to be one of the lower owned games. I think we could find a few ceiling games and ceiling performances in this one. Jeremy Grant starting with him. He's been playing heavy minutes. Going to be a close game. Matchup's really good for him going against Laurie. Jazz are getting killed inside and from 3-pointers, so he can get there either way. Don't mind him at 7,600. We keep talking about how the mid-tier build is going to be more popular this game or this slate, so I think he's got to be in consideration. Shaedon Sharp, 7,200, same thing. Huge minutes, has not been playing well lately. There's 2 stinkers out there with 13-point games. He's probably off my radar. That's a tough click. Yeah, Aiden's got a good matchup too versus small ball center John Collins. He performed pretty well last game. 18 points, 8 rebounds. Don't mind him at all. I don't know. Did you say that Malcolm Brogdon is out this game?
I think he's playing.
I think he's missing in projections. I think he might be out with this being a back-to-back. So we probably see Skylar Mays. Yeah. So we should, if Brogdon is out, Skylar Mays is going to be back in the starting lineup at a better price tag, 6,400. The Jazz have no on-ball defenders right now with Keontae George, Jordan Clarkson out there. So I mean, his role is going to be really good. We saw him getting a few starts earlier in the year, had some double-doubles, big assist games. So I don't mind Skylar Mays at 6,400. Don't really want to get into any of the value pieces for the Blazers. They're kind of mixing in too many of the guys. So I think I'm really mostly interested in Grant and Skylar Mays, a little bit of DeAndre Ayton. And then on the Jazz side, yeah, the Blazers getting killed inside. So I think John Collins, pretty good matchup for him, 6,700. I'll probably get off Keontae George in this one. I've been trying to play him, trying to make it a thing, but his offensive game is not polished right now. So I think he's got a lot of work to do. But I mean, the role is still really good. Will Hardy's still talking him up, saying that they want to get him a ton of minutes. So I mean, maybe he gets more minutes in this one with THT and Sexton playing into blowout last night. So maybe he sees low to mid 30s minutes at 5,600. That's probably more than enough for him. Assist numbers have been really good, just has not been scoring the ball well. So yeah, I think it's really just John Collins, Keontae George on the Jazz side, and then Skylar Mays, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant on the Blazers side. But I mean, this game is going to be really low owned. I definitely think that there's some pieces we can look at.
Yeah, it will be. Michael said Brogdon still or Q tag. I had trouble trying to find it, but I didn't see any underdog tweets. We'll go with Q. That means if he's out, I guess I'll have a little more interest in Grant. He'd probably be my favorite, but I still don't love this game very much. 14 game slate. Prefer some others. Any take on this before we get to the last game? Sharp or Keldon Johnson, if you had to pick?
Keldon Johnson. He's been playing really well right now. I don't mind that game environment. I'm gonna be way faster pace. I like Keldon Johnson. I didn't really mention him, but he's been playing really really good ball lately. So I like Keldon.
I like it. Last game on the slates. The Lakers, man, you're just there. You don't want to go back after that disaster yesterday. They're back, though. The Mavs taking on the Lakers. Big total, 240. Dallas is favored by 3. Again, Luka's going to be unknown. It's the mid-tier build people are mainly going to. As far as injury report, Cam Reddish is out. Vanderbilt's still out. LeBron is questionable. Now, watching the game yesterday, like his calf is definitely, it's not just a random, they're throwing him on the queue or on the injury report every time with no injury. The calf definitely is bothering him, but it also was a blowout, so they didn't need to play their full minutes. I don't really know. Like I'm scared enough that LeBron could miss and just get a long vacation and all that. Thanksgiving tomorrow, old man, he played all the minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out, which makes me not want to click his name because I think he's a strong play. If you tell me LeBron's playing, I think he's a strong play in this game. It's a game to get up for, close spread, a lot of eyes on it. So I lean he plays, and I think if you get it right, 9.6K is a great price tag, right as that SGA pivots. AD, I think that's my preferred way too, just because the unknowns with Bron. Maybe just have the LeBron have the $200 in the util spot so you can get up to AD. Maybe that's the best way to approach it if you want LeBron. The more I talk through it, I definitely would do that. But my favorite play probably in this game, without knowing the LeBron stuff, is Reeves, man. Cam Reddish, him being out, it's a big bump for Austin Reeves. Played great yesterday. Shooting guard, small forward eligibility. I don't care if he starts or he doesn't start. I think he does, but regardless, he's going to have a big role. So give me one of those Lakers guys. If I play Bron, have the 200 in util for AD. I like Reeves regardless. Only gets a bigger bump if Bron's out. And on the other side, Kyrie has a solid price tag at 8.4, but we're talking scoring dependence. You shook your head like that. You might love it. Kyrie and LeBron scoring, all that. I could see 40 real ones for sure. Is there enough peripherals, though, or a cold shooting night? The snowflake's definitely in play, too. So break down this one to end it off.
No, I mean, that was a really good breakdown. Good shout on Austin Reeves. Definitely have a ton of interest in him. Yeah, similar story to last night with the AD LeBron stuff. You're going to want those guys in your utility spot. If you're trying to play LeBron, make sure you keep a couple hundred left over to go up to AD. I mean, I just prefer the matchup in this one for AD more anyways, going against the rookie Derek Lively. He's been struggling to defend down low. I mean, Davis was off to a really hot start last game, had a double-double in the first quarter. And, I mean, he was on his way to a massive game, probably could have got upwards of 70 points if the game had stayed within reach. Didn't play the fourth quarter, so he finished with 56 or so DraftKings points in 20-something minutes. He's a really good play. I'm not seeing any ownership on him. Definitely have interest in him. Yeah, I will be interested to see how the Lakers will try out the starting lineup. I don't think that they'll have – I think Reeves will definitely come off the bench, and Max Christie got the start for Cam Reddish in the second half, and he played really well. He was doing a little bit of everything, kind of running the point a little bit sometimes. He had 4 assists, 5 rebounds, made a couple shots. I mean, he's min-priced. I think you got to have interest in somebody that's min-priced. I feel like his minutes are probably pretty safe just with them not having a ton of depth in that position. So I would – and they're also not playing D'Angelo Russell a ton. I mean, D'Angelo Russell was playing into blowout last game, which tells you kind of how they feel about him. So, yeah, Max Christie, definitely interested in him. Yeah, I think on the Lakers side, AD, top play, Reeves, really solid play in the mid 5Ks, and then Max Christie. If you wanted to get a Rui, maybe he plays more in this game. Maybe the Mavericks go a little bit more small ball, and that will give him a little bit more minutes. But 4,800, pretty solid. I mean, that's a kind of expensive for an unknown role for Rui, so I don't think I'll be on him. And then, yeah, on the Maverick side, it's just Luka and Kyrie, but I think I slightly prefer Kyrie. Well, I mean, Luka does get a bigger boost now with Cam Reddish being out. I'll be interested to see who they put on him on defense. Obviously, he's got huge ceiling, 11.8, pretty hefty price tag. Kyrie's a $3,000 savings, so I think I prefer him. Should be a fast-paced game. The Mavericks kind of switching things up this year. They've normally been a really slow team, but now they're playing with the fourth highest pace. Been really humming on offense too. Second highest offensive rating. Bottom 6 defense. I mean, we could see some pretty big scoring in this one. I think, I definitely prefer Kyrie just for the savings, and I like the matchup for him a little bit better too.
Yeah, I think Kyrie's fine. I expect Taurean Prince, like who's going to be on Luka. I expect it to be Prince. Don't matter. Luka will cook him like he cooks everyone, but this mainly the price has me off a little bit. But yeah, the AD LeBron, I don't mind if you have LeBron, or like if you like LeBron over AD. I would have that $200 though in the matchup. You said you're already on the AD side. I like that for sure. Like Reeves, even if he doesn't start, like you said, Christie would be very interesting. Because I don't know if that's a hot, like, who knows what's going to happen with Reeves. I definitely think some projections have Reeves starting. So if Christie starts, it's a way better number. Mid-price, there's not much value on this slate. I think that's a very interesting way to go about it. That was all 14 games. Awesome stuff. An hour, a little over an hour, talking all 14 games. Again, just want to show you, we have that promo code Turkey20 to get $20 off your first payment. NFL, big weekend in the NFL Street projections. Showdown content we'll have tomorrow night's game, Friday's game, GPP core report will be up, cash report will be up, player pool, slate plan, hoop, Tambo, NBA, of course, projections updated throughout the night, GPP core report, cash core report, ceiling ranking, slate plan, or correlation sheet will be up end of the month, early next month for the correlation sheet. Very excited to get those rolling with a lot of data starting to pile up. Rio does the slate plan, top tier, mid tier, lower tier, puts a lot of time in that. And of course, showdown content. That does not change for tonight. Big prize pools, as always. My man Rio, great breakdown. Any final words for the people?
No, I hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving, spend time with family, watching football, eating some good food. Definitely be around watching football all day. So looking forward to it. Hopefully everybody has a good night tonight. Looking forward to some of these games. So yeah, just good luck, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Be safe out there tonight. Have a great time with friends and family tomorrow. Hopefully you guys win some money. Again, use that promo code Turkey20. Gets you $20 off your first month. Takes you down to $49 a month. Let me get this out so our faces are there. $49 a month. Still have 6-month annual packages as well as weekly as well. But the best deal, in my opinion, is that $49 a month to get in the Discord. Happy Thanksgiving. We will be back talking Showdown, I believe, on Friday is the next show. So see you Friday. Eat a lot. Win some money. Enjoy football. Enjoy family. Enjoy friends. Rio, my man, you have a good one. Tell Jasmine I say hi. For Rio, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.